Man, woman, or child, whoever you may be, if God's calling you to preach, you need to do it. If God's telling you to stand and miss the trials and tribulations, you need to do it. If God's telling you to be that voice and that mouthpiece to the broken, you need to do it. If God's telling you to minister to the young, to the old, to do youth rallies, to do youth conventions, to go to nursing homes, go to hospitals, whatever it may be, you need to do it. And don't let no man or woman or child or anybody else stop you from doing what God's wanted you to do. And most certainly don't let the devil stop you, because God has given you a great opportunity to minister. God has given you a great opportunity to be an overcomer today. And how do we become an overcomer? Through our obstacles, through what we've been through, we can reach someone else. Sometimes, in order to have a testimony, we first got to have a test. Sometimes, in order to be blessed, we've got to be a blessing. Let's impact somebody's life today. Let's change somebody's life today by you being a voice to those that have been broken. Be a voice to those that have been down and out. Be a voice to those that feel like they have no voice. Be that voice that God has called you to be today, and do what God has called you to do. Now unto Abraham and his seed, which was a promise made, he saith not, and to seeds as of many, but as one, and to thy seed which is Christ. And this I say unto you, that the covenant that was confirmed before God in Christ, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, that it should be made a promise of none effect. God has made you a promise today, and it cannot be disannulled. It cannot be stopped. The devil might try to stop it. People might try to stop you. People might try to stall you. But God has called you for a purpose today. Obey Him in all things. For the inheritance via the law is no more a promise, but God gave it to Abraham by promise. God gave this covenant to Abraham by promise. Isaiah spoke of it. The other prophets spoke of it. Of a coming Messiah that would come. That would be bruised for our iniquities. That would receive stripes for our healings. Everything that He done it for you and I. At any given point in time, He could have stopped it, but He didn't. He done it so that we could have life, and have life more abundantly. He done it so we could have those second chances, sometimes third chances. How many ever chances it needs, but you need to serve the Lord today, while it's still day. And don't waste time listening to everybody else, but just begin to release your faith in Him today. And know that through Him, all things are possible. If you're struggling today, He can help you. If you're standing at the crossroads today, He can help you. If you're seeking signs, want to know if it's really God or not calling you, He can tell you. But instead of questioning God, when God first draws us, we need to obey Him in all things. If God's calling you to preach, you need to preach. If God's calling you to sing, you need to sing. If God's calling you to teach, you need to teach. Whatever God's calling you to do, you need to do it. If God's calling you to go to nursing homes, you need to do it. If God's calling you to go to hospitals, you need to do it. If God's calling you to have house services, you need to do it. If God's calling you to minister to the young, you need to do it. If God's calling you to minister to the old, you need to do it. If God's calling you into the women ministry, you need to do it. If God's calling you into any kind of ministry, you need to do it. If God's calling you into prisons, you need to do it. If God's calling you into missions, you need to do it. Whatever God is calling you to do, you need to do it. And no one can stop you today once God has opened those doors. God will open doors that no man can shut. But all we've got to do is step out by faith.